In general, I was speaking out in ways that they found disruptive. And I use that word. I think that's probably a very, for the manager side, you don't want to be disruptive. Keep your head down, go along with the group. I mean, there have been conflicts that I had with the bishops of Texas about various things. And, I was accused of not being fraternal then. But it's like, as a bishop, I'm supposed to just go against what I believe in principle is the right thing. And frankly, with some of these things, I think I was proven to be on the right side. But that's not the way the management school wanted it to work. So all of that in general, I think I was just disruptive. And the last thing managers want is disruption.
So the literature online about your situation, one of the big ones that keeps coming up is that you read a letter in a public gathering in Rome where I think you used to referred to Pope Francis as a usurper of Peter's chair. You want to comment on that a little bit? That's some strong language.
Yeah. Yeah. And I realized I was in Rome at a gathering, and it was a letter that, I never divulged and don't intend to because I didn't want to bring this person into it. But, I obviously agreed with what this person was saying. I didn't formulate the letter. I read a letter from a friend. And I realized at the time, I was, had a little dry mouth and was a bit nervous in saying it, but I felt strongly that I needed to say it because, I know that sounds very judgmental of Pope Francis. I just felt like we need, again, going back to the simple example I use, in an alcoholic family, we need to speak the truth. And if that's not the truth, we need to sort that out. But that wasn't the mood in the church. So, I stand by what I said. I know it was probably, maybe the last nail in my coffin of being relieved of, but frankly, Conor, and I'm not the smartest guy, but I'm not stupid. I knew that I was pushing myself toward removal. And I knew that. People were saying, people were predicting it, and some people said, in less than a year. But long before I got the notice that I was going to have an apostolic visitation, people were already saying, Bishop Strickland's going to be removed. I didn't want that, but if the choice became speak the truth or keep your office, I had to speak the truth. I tried to do it respectfully, and I'm sure I made some mistakes, but and people have asked me, do you regret and would you do things differently? I don't know of anything I would change. Maybe, if a real mistake was pointed out, I would try to correct it. But in general, I felt like I felt compelled to speak the truth. I often referred to that in the Acts of the Apostles, where I think it's Peter and John, where, they're dragged in and investigated and they said, quit using the name of Jesus. And they come out and say, we rejoice in being persecuted for his name and we can't stop. That was where my heart is I can't be told to quit teaching truth incarnate because it doesn't fit the synodal model in the modern church and all of this that, to me, had a lot of problematic elements.
One of the rumors, I guess, that was coming around during this whole conflict you had with the Vatican was your use of the deposit of faith. That kind of made some headlines, or at least spread through social media. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I was directly told to quit talking about it. Quit talking about the deposit of faith. It's like, quit doing my job. And one of the advantages that I've had, I think, because I love Tyler, I love East Texas. It's where I've lived and where I grew up. but there's a good kind of salt of the earth, down to earth feel here. I mean, it's not big city in any way. And, it's country, but it's a lot of natural wisdom, I think. And I think that, one person said to me, somewhere in the years since I was removed, they said, Bishop, you were hired to drive the bus. You're driving the bus, and they fire you because you're driving the bus.
Or it's like firing a rabbi because he talks about the Torah.
Yeah,
how did they tell you to stop talking about the deposit of faith? It just betrays the fact that they are pushing something that they fear is outside the deposit of faith. Yeah. Why else would you be instructed to stop talking about deposit of faith? This is a staggering, mind-blowing thing for Catholics to process, that a bishop of the Catholic Church is told to stop talking about the deposit of faith. Hey, thanks guys for checking out the Conor Gallagher Show. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, or comment, or whatever you got to do to support it. And I appreciate that very much.